O'Brien.
Welcome, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in. Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN Thursday trading, and we got markets with some selling accelerating to lows at about noon Eastern time. We bounced for the last 3 hours, and we got 60 minutes left to go in trading. We got markets in the red. S&P's negative by 0.7%, trading at 67.77. NASDAQ 100, we're off by 1.3%. You were off 2% at some of the lows out there. Trading at 25,400 with 200 points off those lows. Dow off by about 0.6% right now. Trading at 47,156, and you have the Russell. Off by 1.4%. A little bit of a rollover from where we were at about 230. Bitcoin's been under pressure lately, and that continues today. Check out Bitcoin from 127,000 a month ago today, folks, October 6th. Okay, and we're challenging 100,000 for the third day in a row. You were down there on Tuesday, you were down there yesterday, and today we almost hit that price level as well. 100,610 was the low on Bitcoin, off by 2.2%. Ethereum off by 3.3%, 33.46. Crude basically flat at $59.53. We take a look at that crude volatility. Pressure to the downside this morning, all the way to 58.83. We've bounced a bit, but we had some selling with the whole rest of the market this morning. Crude traded lower this morning. You had gold trading lower. They were selling everything this morning, right? From about 8:30 until the lows of noon. They did. They sold it all. Gold trading from 4,025 down to 39.80. Now, I say they sold it all. They even sold the dollar. So you don't always sell the dollar and you sell the commodities the dollar is priced in, right? But that's what was happening. We had lower yield, a weaker dollar, and they were selling gold, selling crude, selling markets this morning. You jump over to yields. As I mentioned at the top of the hour update, one of the biggest moves out there. You got higher price, lower yield. The 10-year is negative by 6 basis points. We're down to 4.09 on the 10-year, and you're up by 15 ticks to 112.26 right now on that 10-year. All right, and we'll kick it off with jobs. The most October cuts in over 20 years. So, in my opinion, folks, some of the selling that we have going on today is a little bit of the volatility of yesterday's tariff deal. Was very surprised to hear that policy, in all likelihood, facing a lot of pushback from the Supreme Court. From my very little understanding of legal arguments, but what I do understand is people and the questions, and they were giving both sides good questions, but there was no market reaction today, and I think part of this is that. All right, and the president's going to have a lot more of options if it does get overturned as unconstitutional, those IEEPA tariffs. But there'll be a short period of risk off, right? And that's the way I look at it. Not that it's going to deteriorate everything. There'll be other avenues. And I imagine that the other trading partners, okay, they can make those same type of deals potentially with a Congress backing, okay? And how does that work, right? Or different types of pet tariffs or different mechanisms besides IEEPA. And I imagine those other partners are going to try and cement similar deals and not hold that against the president and re-flare up tensions, right? But there's going to be some short-term volatility if that headline hits the tape, folks, that the tariffs are ruled unconstitutional. And boy, I don't even know how they'll unwind them. I think for ease, if they just went proactively, right? I read an article coming into the tariff concerns that it was going to take, in some situations, 10 months to get a refund right now, even when you were dealing with just, sometimes what will happen, folks, there'll be an erroneous tariff or it'll be too much. You can appeal it. And in those situations, there's already backlogs because of what's going on with the government. So it would just take almost years to refund that money. Maybe they just push it forward if that's where they were leaning. And they were talking about it. But that's part of the selling, in my opinion. Right out of the gate this morning. Jobs was in focus, okay, but right out of the gate, man. And that was some fierce selling to the downside. And it didn't stop until about 25,300 in the NASDAQ. S&Ps on volume, it was strong all the way until about 11:30. Okay, we've dried up since then. Markets have bounced a bit, but you have not seen the selling. We've just had you have not seen the buying. We've just had some of that selling dry up. We'll see if it comes back in the last 45 minutes. The VIX, you do get a spike, but all things considered, hey, just back to where we were yesterday. You're just back to where we were on Tuesday, and we're not that far off from where we were on Monday as well. VIX with an 18 handle at 1896 right now. Some of the equities moving today. Snapchat up by double digits. Big numbers for Snapchat, up by 11%. $500 million buyback. On the flip side of that, Health Beauty, down by 36%. Talking about it this morning. For their forecast for their annual sales, $1.55 billion and maybe a little bit more. Hailey Bieber's line alone is going to do $300 million. Their entire business is 20% of Hailey Bieber's line of cosmetics is Elf Beauty. Okay, and this is a $5 billion company, and some of those cosmetic brands, right, of influencers, just famous people in general, huge followings, Kardashians to name a few. But boy, that one struck me, man, and they have some issues. And add that into the mix, right? Because what if she goes somewhere else? What if she's controlling 20% of what they do? But boy, this thing down from 221 when you made a double top last year, and that's the monthly volume, folks. No, that's the week. Okay, I thought it was monthly for a second. Still going to blow away everything. Check out the monthly volume, though. Already we've done 24 million shares. Last month you did 31. It's November 6th. So you had Eli Lilly and Novo in the Oval Office today, and unfortunately the VP of Novo had some type of medical procedure, and I'm not sure what ended up happening. Hopefully it was all right. I don't know if they put anything out other beyond that, but let's see. Eli Lilly, nonetheless, up by 1.5, and so they got a deal that comes out with the obesity drugs, talking about lowering the cost. Under the agreements, the monthly out-of-pocket costs of popular injections and the upcoming pills, $50 to $350 is the number, depending on the dosage, insurance coverage a patient has. And what I didn't know, I was reading this earlier, all right? It seems like there's 3 groups. Maybe they'll rephrase it. Maybe I'm going to check out after the break. And it's based off BMI and other conditions. Nonetheless, Eli Lilly up by 1.5% today, and the market likes that on a day when we got right across the board. NASDAQ 100 off by 360 right now. We'll come back. We'll take a look at those Magnificent 7, folks. You got Tesla in focus as they're looking to approve their pay package for Mr. Elon Musk. And we'll take a look at Airbnb. All right, as they get their numbers, we'll check out Airbnb tonight and see what we got going on. Airbnb, a little bit of a bid. Check it out for our man Elo in the den. Down by 0.2%, trading at 122.